After an over 2-year hiatus due to the glitch fest known as WWE 2K20, 2K has finally brought the franchise back with the now released WWE 2K22. With new core gameplay changes to striking, grappling, and reversals, updated graphics, modes like MyRise, Universe Mode, and MyFaction, the return of MyGM, an expanded Superstar Creation Suite, and the addition of a new 2K showcase highlighting the great Rey Mysterio, expectations were at an all-time high for wrestling fans itching to get their hands on the game. But are the updates to WWE 2K22 enough to eliminate the negative stigma caused by its predecessor? Although the game isn't Mr. Perfect due to issues with certain modes and online play, WWE 2K22 does a fantastic job in reviving the series like The Rock did for WWE in his return to face John Cena back in 2011. WWE 2K22 includes a new gameplay engine that results in an experience that is in between the slow, methodical sim experience of the great WWF No Mercy and the super fast arcade-like gameplay of the SmackDown series. Striking consists of light and heavy strikes being mapped to 2 buttons, with combos being executed by chaining simple button inputs. Grapples are mapped to a single button, while pins and submissions bring back button mashing to break free, which I personally prefer. The counter system has been updated as well, with breakers, forcing you to counter by predicting incoming moves by pressing the same button you think your opponent will. Breakers only apply to strikes and grapple-based attacks. A universal reversal button still exists for everything else. This will take some getting used to, and although this reduces the number of counterfests we've seen in past WWE games, the addition of more button guesswork means you'll be absorbing more attacks as a result. The animations in WWE 2K22 look and feel so much better than 2K20. Grapples, strikes, and other moves flow realistically, much like the real-life superstars. Glitches are kept to a minimum here, which is a complete 180 when compared to its predecessor. Kudos to 2K for cleaning up the glitch-filled mess and creating a much smoother gameplay experience with 2K22. "2K has always done a good job with their player models with its NBA 2K franchise, and they've done the same for the most part with WWE 2K22. The majority of WWE superstars look exactly like their real-life counterparts, from their face scans, wrestling gear, and tattoos. However, I can't help but notice some inaccuracies with some of the female superstars, specifically when it comes to face scans and hair. Now, other than superstar models, everything else looks pretty good. Lighting is much improved, and venues are recreated to a T. You'll see Raw, SmackDown, and all the pay-per-view venues that are here for the most part accurately represented here. Even the Thunderdome, complete with virtual fans, is a venue option, which is a nice touch. The only gripe that I have with the venues is that I wish the long ramps and stages from the big pay-per-views like WrestleMania were scaled properly. But that's a small issue with what is, for the most part, a great-looking game. New camera angles, faithfully recreated superstar entrances, TV-style graphics packages specific to each show and pay-per-view, post-match celebrations, and updated commentary make for a much improved WWE 2K experience. In many cases, one could mistake the game for being the real TV broadcast with how well of a job 2K did here from a presentation standpoint. Sure, there are moments where commentary doesn't transition as smoothly as you would hear in NBA 2K, or encounter a replay transition that is a bit jarring, but the overall presentation in WWE 2K22 is much better than what we've seen in previous games. There are a ton of modes in WWE 2K22 that will keep wrestling fans busy for quite some time. However, there are hits and misses with some of these modes. 2K Showcase features the great Rey Mysterio, and the mode gives you the ability to play through some of his greatest matches, complete with real-life soundbites of Rey talking about each match from his perspective. As an avid wrestling fan, I enjoyed replaying these matches in 2K form, complete with old-school pay-per-view venues like Halloween Havoc and Cyber Sunday. I wish they had the triple threat WrestleMania match between him, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle, but despite that, it's a fun mode that combines gameplay with real-life wrestling history in a cinematic way. MyGM is 2K's take on the classic GM mode made popular on WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. In MyGM, players compete with an AI or player opponent to take over 2 WWE brands and go head-to-head, booking shows for a set period of time to try and earn the most fans. The game mode allows players to only book 3 matches per week and offers just 2 titles per brand, the Women's and Men's Championship. That means there are no tag team championships on any of the 4 playable brands. This is a huge oversight by 2K, but the mode does offer a ton of variables to deal with every week. From budgeting for specific superstars via the WWE draft, determining which superstar class to build around, and choosing random free agents and legends to appear on your brand each week, and you got yourself a ton of things to work with. This, along with other caveats, will determine how well your show is rated each week, how many fans you gain, and ultimately how much money you make. Because of how menu-driven MyGM mode is and the lack of championship belts available, I don't see myself spending a ton of time on it, but others may feel otherwise. WWE 2K22 MyRise is a new career mode that expands the experience with numerous storylines, decisions that will determine how you progress through your career, and for the first time ever, individual paths for men and women. 2K says the length of MyRise totals 50 hours of gameplay with 1,000 possible matches. MyRise starts at the WWE Performance Center, and you get to choose your background of choice, either indie wrestler, MMA fighter, actor, or pro athlete, which each background offering unique storylines and stats. MyRise puts its story in the hands of players with choices like being a hero or villain and making allies or enemies as you progress through your career. It's one of the deepest wrestling career modes I've played and is one of the modes in WWE 2K22 that I've enjoyed the most. WWE 2K22 takes a page out of NBA 2K's My Team with MyFaction. Like its NBA counterpart, MyFaction enables players to collect cards to build a faction of their dreams, with unique pairings of superstars to tackle challenges with and take over wrestling. While on the surface it looks like a carbon copy of other card-based modes, MyFaction is only a single-player game mode. These type of modes are all about online communities, whether it's for competition, the markets of buying and selling cards, or taking on your friends. Because MyFaction lacks this functionality, the mode is ultimately a shell of what it should be. WWE 2K22's Creation Suite is a fun distraction, and I found myself losing track of time as I was making superstars, championships, arenas, Titantron videos, and more. You'll also find some great creator wrestlers here from the community for you to download as well. Universe mode provides more options as you book shows, matches, rivalries, and more. You can now follow an individual career as well, but Universe is about making your own fun and doesn't offer enough tangible rewards compared to other modes in the game. 2 things also worth mentioning was the game's roster and online play. Over 200 superstars are in the game, with a good number of them no longer in the real-life WWE. A few notable wrestlers are missing from the game as well, including Kurt Angle, Lita, and the Bella Twins. The dreaded VC 2K fans have grown to hate is also here, and it requires for you to unlock certain superstars at 1K a pop. And although VC isn't as prominent as its NBA 2K counterparts, this could be something that impacts the franchise down the road. Now, speaking of NBA 2K, it looks like the server issues that have plagued the series has carried over to WWE 2K22 as well, with server issues affecting online play at launch. Hopefully this is an anomaly, but knowing 2K's history with online issues, I remain cautiously optimistic. 2K miraculously pulled off a babyface comeback with WWE 2K22, as it's the most fun I've had with a wrestling game since WWF No Mercy. Now, despite a few issues with some modes, the solid gameplay, kick-ass graphics, true-to-life presentation, and sheer amount of options makes WWE 2K22 a worthy buy for any wrestling fan. Well, that's it for this episode of Sports Gamer Show. If you want more content, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to like this video as well, and follow me on all my social networks and at me on Xbox Live and the PlayStation Network.